you for coming to what is our now annual State of the Union address. I'm sure you'll have seen through that video a really, really big year for us and lots to be really proud of. Student leadership is at the heart of what the SU is about. And you join us this week in a really critical moment in our year where we really stop and recognise the excellent work of our outgoing team and we welcome our new incoming team and get really excited about all the plans for the years ahead. But today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Benji, our outgoing president from 25-26. Benji first served as community officer in 24-25, allowing us a little bit of extra time to work with him. I'm sure across the many roles Benji has had, you've been able to work with him and had the pleasure of working with him and seen the excellent work he has done for our students here on campus. So whether indirectly or directly, today is a chance to hear from Benji as he leaves his role as president. Benji is also chair of the SU's trustee board, and that comes with a lot of additional responsibilities and perspective. And as such, we really do feel there's no better person to give you an update on the State of the Union than Benji, our SU president.
I just hope everyone knows that I was as shocked as they were when I saw my face. Brilliant. Thank you so much for being here. Occasions like these offer us such a valuable opportunity to not only reflect on the year, but also look back with seriousness and ambition, the future which we wish to build for students here at Bath. I would like to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to everyone in the room and all those that weren't able to make it, who have supported the Students' Union in advocating on behalf of students this year. Whether you briefed us before important meetings, encouraged us to speak up when discussions became difficult, challenged our assumptions, or simply gave your time generously in countless conversations, your contribution has genuinely mattered and meant a lot to us officers. None of the progress we celebrate now has happened in isolation. It has been the product of collaboration, persistence, and a lot of pragmatism, and we really appreciate your effort and willingness to work with us, and a shared commitment to improving student life here at Bath. It has, by any fair measure, been a very strong year for our Students' Union. We have seen meaningful progress across many of the issues that shape daily life for students here. There has been continued work on SULIS, progress on 6 West South as a flagship, neurodiverse-friendly study space, and further movement on sustainability and improving the rights for students that wish to advocate, hopefully not interrupting any lectures. Postgraduate employment, buses, and inclusive education. These are not abstract policy matters, and most students can feel the tangible difference that all of our efforts have made. They influence whether students can learn effectively, move through campus with confidence, and feel that the institution around them is caring about them and responding to their needs. If there is one thing this year has shown us again, it is the student voice is most powerful when it is not treated as a tick-boxing exercise, but as a practical and necessary part of decision-making and improving life here. The quality of the university experience is not determined only by your lectures or league tables. It is shaped by your belonging, by opportunity, by support, and by whether students feel that the institution sees the full reality of their lives. And that reality today is demanding. Students are living through a cost of living crisis, and that remains deeply felt across all aspects of their life, whether it's raising food, rent, energy prices, as well as the effect that these pressures have on students' abilities to participate in sport and wider extracurricular life. That is why it's so important to recognise that today, students are not only financially stretched, but time poor. This is not a matter of poor organisation or insufficient resilience. It is the results of students balancing full-time study with employment, rising living costs, and pressures of daily life. Nationally, the House of Commons Library has noted that the proportion of full-time students working alongside their studies is now at 58%. While significant, numbers of students continue to report financial difficulties during their courses. Just to paint you a picture, most students can't even pay their annual rent with the student loan that they receive. Whenever you think of what the modern student experience looks like today, it's very different than it was 30 years ago. And yet, despite all of these hardships and all of these struggles, students continue to give. That is why one of the most important figures I want to celebrate tonight is that 54% of our students are part of a student group. This is a remarkable testament to the strength of the student community at Bath and an envy of the sector. In the midst of financial strain, rising costs, and increasing time pressure, more than half of our students are still choosing to commit to something beyond their formal studies. They are joining societies, sports clubs, volunteer groups, support groups, liberation networks, media organisations, and representative bodies such as Summit. They are choosing a community, they're choosing to contribute, and they're choosing to shape university life here at Bath and not merely pass through it. That should make us extremely proud, and I think it's something that all of us officers see on the daily basis, and we know that none of what you could see in that video would be able to happen without the volunteering of so many countless students. And ironically, we found that extracurricular life here at Bath is not extra. It's not an option in order to get your real university experience. It is a central part. It's through extracurricular involvement that students often learn to lead for the first time. It is where they manage teams, budgets, organise events, resolve conflicts, represent their peers. When else are you going to be at this age managing a club with a budget of over 30 grand? The skills and life lessons that being part of a committee and being involved in student life here is truly immeasurable. And these are not incidental experiences, these are formative ones. They build resilience, initiative, courage, communication, and adaptability. Precisely all of the traits which universities and employers alike claim to value. This matters all more in a world that is changing so ever so rapidly. Over the last 4 years, I myself included, students have had to adapt not only to economic instability, but also profound technological change. I know there's probably going to be a collective groan when I say this, but generative AI has moved from novelty to over 95% of undergraduate students report using artificial intelligence in one way in the latest HEPI report. I myself have found it so weird where before I entered university, AI was, no one had really encountered it, no one had really used it. And then halfway through, AI suddenly came out. And now suddenly, if you're not using it, you're behind. And there seems to be a constant firefight between, are the people marking it better at using AI? Are you as a student better at using AI? And it's a struggle that many students face. It's not simply that the technology is changing, it's that the universities must, and you've got a duty to prepare students for the world in which capability is increasingly defined by more than disciplinary knowledge alone. Students need judgment, adaptability, digital confidence, and critical thinking. They need to know how to use new tools without outsourcing their own reasoning. In other words, they need exactly the kind of broader skills that are so developed through leadership, volunteering, representation, and extracurricular participation. And this links directly to graduate outcomes. Bath has every reason to be proud of its records. In the latest graduate outcomes survey, 89% of Bath's full-time UK domiciled first degree graduates in paid employment were in high-skilled roles 15 months after graduating. Could we just give a massive applause? Because that is an incredible achievement. And I think it's also one of the gems in Bath's crown. I remember when Mammoth, who were doing the entire rebrand, when they came with the kind of what is Bath, it was student experience, graduate outcomes, and research. And it is truly amazing. And this is an excellent result, and one which reflects the quality and ambition and capabilities of students at Bath. If we are honest, graduate outcomes do not begin at graduation. They begin a lot earlier than that. They begin in the experiences students build while they are here, in the committee that teaches leadership, in the volunteering shift that teaches responsibility, in the group project where not everyone is putting their weight, and in the campaign that teaches resilience, in the representative role that teaches diplomacy, and in the student group that teaches how to work with others towards a shared purpose. I had a friend that recently graduated, and he's now a recruiter at PwC, and he was telling me that if you're in a job interview, if a candidate mentions, if they're talking about a time where they want to talk about teamwork or talk about a time where they led, if they mention a group project that they did at university, it's immediately discarded. Because right now, university isn't the golden ticket that it used to be for every student. It's the baseline for starting your career. And for that reason, the central message I want to leave you all is this. The university should formally recognise extracurricular contribution. Not simply admire it, not simply celebrate it in speeches, and not simply encourage it in principle. It should formally recognise it through academic credit and transcript recognition. To recognise all the time that students spend giving back and give them a tangible qualification at the end of it. It's been amazing this year to see how well the Bath Award has performed, and it's a great step in the right direction. When it was relaunched this year, it recognised volunteering, leadership, and employment. And I believe we had over 600 students apply in the first year and 218 students finish it, which is amazing for an award that started this year to already have 1% of students completing it and getting that award. But it's not enough. Students are already doing the work. They're already building the communities, leading groups, supporting their peers, and making the university stronger. And they're doing this while navigating a cost of living crisis, a demanding academic environment, and increasing pressure on their time. The question is not whether the extracurricular contribution is real. The question is whether the institution is prepared to recognise it as real. And so my plea today is a direct one. To the executive members in this room, to the senior leaders, and to all those here that have the ability to shape the next stage of the conversation, I plead to you, please make it happen. Help us build a model in which extracurricular leadership is treated not as admirable, not as separate, but as a legitimate and valued part of education itself. Help us move away from warm words to structural recognition. Help us build a university that does not merely benefit from student contribution, but formally honours it. Because if Bath is serious about employability, serious about graduate outcomes, serious about belonging, and serious about preparing students for the complex world ahead, then recognising extracurricular contribution is not an indulgent extra. It is common sense. When the university started doing its placement, this whole placement scheme back in the 60s, it became one of the defining characteristics of what you would expect from life at Bath. But we've slowly seen that where we used to excel, other universities are catching up. Just the other week, Manchester announced that every single student would be doing a mandatory placement. It's issues like these where we have to keep ahead of the curve. And I can guarantee you that the first university to properly implement extracurricular accreditation, so many will follow. Because if you want to give students the best leg up in life, then please recognise it. When students feel recognised, they remain engaged. And when they remain engaged, the community grows. And I think it's so really important that I conclude this and put it plainly. The state of the union is strong. The state of our student body is strong. They're still willing. They're still contributing. And not because every challenge has been solved, and not because there is not more work to do, but because the student union is full of students that are so passionate about doing the work anyway. It's strong because students continue to give up their time, energy, and imagination for something bigger than themselves, and even when pressures on their time and the cost of living are so considerable. It's strong because more than half of our students are part of a student group, with 94% of our students that were in a committee position this year agreeing that it helped their employability. It's strong because the staff, officers, and university partners continue to choose collaboration over complacency. It is strong because time and time again, we're reminded that students are to be trusted, listened, and backed. And when you give them all of those things, they achieve extraordinary things. Let us therefore be proud of this year and let us celebrate what we have achieved. But let's be crystal clear about what comes next. We must continue to respond to the pressures that students face. We must continue to invest in community and opportunity outside the classroom. And above all, we must ensure that extracurricular contribution gets the recognition it deserves. I'm not here to give you all the answers. I'm sure there are many concerns that you may have, and I know this won't be an overnight thing. It'll probably be a 5-year process. But I just wanted to start this conversation formally and make it clear to you what students want. Because extracurricular life is not extra. It is part of education, and it is time that the institution treated it that way. Thank you. I would also like to formally introduce all the new officers. Please go and find them. We've got Mercy, Nick, and Tash over there. Please say hello. They don't bite. Angus might. But yeah, please make sure to say hello. Please enjoy the brownies and have a lovely rest of the week. Thank you.
Hey, guys, Tim.